Spent quite a few hours this weekend leveling up the table. I have little feet on the bottom with bolts I can just tighten through and level it up. So got that all leveled, and the car is set at ride height. Undecided whether this is going to be ride height, so 2 inches above the frame table, or this. So that's the fender. Now that front fender, there's no rad support, so it's pointing down, but that will be the fender reveal roughly. Be something like that, which I think should look good. Obviously the fenders need pulled a little more. They're touching, the center is good, but the back here is touching, and the front, I think I have enough space. So it's the back there mainly that I've got contact. So to sort that out, I've got the frame rails sorted for here. I need to make a cut roughly where this line is. So that's basically my angle that the frame rail is going to go from here down under the car and meet the other section. As you can see where it is now, it's running basically straight into the rag joint for my steering column. I am going to have to get a new steering column. This, I think, would give me enough room though. I don't know if there's an adapter I can get from there to go to like a Borgeson joint, because I think this is just like a double D. I have to check into that to see what this side is. And then I'm going to do a collapsible shaft between here and the steering column there. So that'll be my next thing to sort out. This is roughly in place. I've measured it. I'm within about a 1/16 of an inch of proper placement for this. Next thing I need to do is check my, after that is check my coilovers to see if I need to lower this. So where I'm sitting right now, I'm at 13.5 inches from the mounting point on the control arm to the center here. So I got to see where that puts me on the coilovers that I have. Inside here, I've put in this cross member goes below the floor pan. It's used on the convertibles, and then there's another piece that welds into the floor that attaches to here and goes further back, and it allows you to put a plate across the bottom of the floor. You can see there's one of the mounting holes there from where the thing bolts up from below. I do have the convertible plate, but I think I'm just going to use something more flat, and I'll probably put another mount closer to the front and another mount back here by where the transmission is now in the back, and run a transmission cover or a tunnel cover all the way up to the bell housing. This is a little bit tight here, so this is going to need clearancing. I was just checking to see if it fit around the torque tube, which it does, but it's a little bit tight here, so probably going to need a little bit of clearancing to fit around the tube, but that's not a big deal. And I need to cut this probably about here and install this piece on one side and up into the tunnel, and do the same thing on that side and up into the tunnel. And then I'm going to add a piece in here for my difference in height, and this will go back into the tunnel. So I've bought a complete stamped factory floor, like a factory replacement floor, and I'm just cutting the transmission tunnel out of it. So I don't want to cut these pans out there. The car really has no rust on it, so it's a shame to cut the factory floor out and replace the entire floor. So I'll cut it. I cut this close to the top. I'll cut the other one close to the bottom, and that should give me enough length to get a nice line in here. and add that piece to the top so that from inside it looks like a factory tunnel. Obviously at the back here where the transmission is, things are going to be quite different. This is the piece that used to go at the very back. So I don't know if I can make use of this or not, where it kind of flares out here, and then I can use that. I'll have to check and see. Use that at the back section and then go out to the wider piece between where the rear seats were, and hopefully still will be a small bucket here just for kids and emergencies. It's not going to be a daily use seat, obviously. It's not going to be a daily use car, so. And I've sent the wiring harness off to Mitch in Nevada. I believe it's Henderson, Nevada, at a company called Swap Time. And he's going to be turning the harness into a standalone. I also got the rear transmission harness for him and sent that down. So I'm hoping that we can incorporate that for the gear position sensors, the reverse lockout. The speed sensor is on the transmission there. Sorry, is on the differential. I believe there's a temperature sensor. I'm pretty sure this on the bottom here is a temperature sensor. I'm not 100% sure though. We'll figure that out. But anyways, I'm hoping to get all that incorporated into the harness as well. And we're gonna try and get the active rev matching to work. Because if you have a gear position sensor, I think we should be able to do it. I also have a brake and clutch setup out of a 2019 ZR1. Now I'm not going to use this assembly, but I just wanted to make sure that I had the this all so that I could get the geometry of it and install the clutch position sensor, and there's a brake position sensor, so those are both needed in order to use the active rev matching. And I think that'll work with the flat shift too, and I need to make sure it's in sport mode or track mode to get those to work. So, and then, sorry, it's cold here in Canada, so got a bunch of gloves here from working. Undecided on exactly what's going to happen to this. I know there's going to be a cam swap. That's just to get rid of the displacement on demand. Most of the failures that I've seen online and read about were to do with the displacement on demand lifters, so I want to remove those since I can't use the system anyways. So I'm going to get rid of those and run a fairly mild cam. I want something with a little bit of a lumpy idle, but I'm not really looking for more horsepower. I'm going to do headers, cam, tune. I have a Innovators West 9% overdrive pulley. Not 100% sure if I'm going to use that. And I have a 95mm LT4 throttle body. I can get an adapter from K-Tech that's a straight through 95mm adapter because the bolt spacing is different. And then I could just take the snout piece off here and port that out. This one is an 87. The stock is 87, so going to the 95 will free up a little bit of air going in. I don't know if it's going to make any difference in horsepower, but the stock LT1 uses this throttle body. So we put a 1.7 liter supercharger on it, and I'm not sure what the ratio is but let's face it, it's making boost, so it's sucking in more than the naturally aspirated 6.2 liter. So this has to be a restriction somewhat. So maybe this is 650, maybe with headers, cam, overdrive, pulley, and the throttle body. Maybe it's 700, 725, 750, I don't know. Either way, it's plenty of horsepower for this car. That's my carbon hood from Anvil. Yeah, these are Anvil Fenders. So these are just the fiberglass fenders though. So they don't have the nice finish. Those ones were out of my budget, and I also knew I was going to have to cut them to add a little more space, so didn't want to spend the money on the carbon. Plus I'm going to paint it all. I'm going to paint it all orange. This is a factory Hugger orange car. You see lots of 69 Camaros in Hugger orange, but most of the ones you see weren't orange from the factory. This is a factory orange car. Not that it matters. The car is about as far from factory as you can get without going all out race car with flat floor and tube chassis and stuff. So okay, that's it till get some more done. Thanks for watching.